We are starting with a new unit, that is ecology and environment. And in this unit, we are going to study about various kinds of interactions between the living organism and the surroundings. So let us first understand the meaning of ecology. Ecology is actually the branch of biology that deals with the study of interactions between living organisms and their surroundings. So, the ecology, when we are considering, or the environment when we are talking, it is actually dealing with the interactions between the organisms which are living, that is plants and animals, and their surroundings, which can be the abiotic factors and biotic factors. So ecology term was given by Ernest Haeckel, and it includes the study of the population, the communities, ecosystem and the biosphere. Now the ecology word actually is concerns with the four level of biological organization. When we are talking of organization, that is having biological organization, or we call it as ecological hierarchy, it consists of the organisms, the population, the third important is the communities or the biological community, and fourth, the biomes. Now these together, all four, form the ecological hierarchy. Now let us try and understand what is the basic level. Now we all know that the life begins from a cell. Now this cell of one type, various cells of one type form the tissues. And all the tissues which are performing similar function will form the organs. The organs form the organ system, and various organ system then form the organism. Now, the organisms of a particular species will form the population. Organisms of a particular species, they form the population. And the population forms community. So the population will form the community, and the community along with the abiotic factors, community plus abiotic factors, form the ecosystem. That is, they will form the ecosystem. And the large ecosystems form the biome. So large ecosystem, they will form biome. And all the biomes form biosphere. So, when we see around us, we begin from a single cell, and all the cells of one type will form, which are performing one function, will form the tissues, and the tissues together form the organs. These organs will form the organ system and will form the organism. Now, this we are dealing with the chapter organism and population. From here, you can make out what are we going to study. So, this below the organism, that is the organ system, organ tissues and will, the cell form the lower level of organization. Lower level of organization. Whereas beyond this, that is organism of a particular species will be forming the population. The populations will form the communities, that is the biological community, and the communities along with the abiotic factors will form the ecosystem. So over from here till the biosphere, that will form the higher level of organization. Higher level of organization. Now, when we are talking of organism and population, we are going to study various types of interactions which will be taking place between the organism and its surroundings. That is the abiotic factors also. Now, talking about the ecological hierarchy, now you can understand where are the organisms standing. Now, coming to the organisms, when we see organism is living in nature and it forms the lowest level of ecological hierarchy. It is the low among the ecological hierarchy, the organism form the basis, because beyond this, then the population, the community and the biome, they form the larger level. So over here you can understand that ecological hierarchy, if we see, organisms are the lowest level. They are the lowest level. And as we move from here to here, the biomes are the largest level over here, or the followed by biosphere. Now, organisms with similar structure and morphological features and which can interbreed will form a species. So, these organisms of a particular species then will form the population. Now, over here, a population may have smaller groups. It can also have subgroups which are known as deme. So, the population can have subgroups, and these subgroups are known as deme. And the interaction is more among the individuals of a deme than between the individuals of different demes of the same population. Then we have the biological community or the community. It is actually the population of various species which are living together in the same area or habitat. Then it will form with the abiotic factors, it will form the ecosystem. Now, coming to the habitat and niche, these are again two very important terms. Habitat, when we say habitat is the geographical area which is occupied by an organism, population or community. So, when we say habitat, it is the area which is occupied by an organism or the population or the community. Now, there are variety of habitats and the variations the each of the habitat is actually characterized by specific physical features, that that is the various abiotic factors that are influencing it, and the various plants and animals which are actually living in that particular habitat. So there are various factors which affect the habitat. It can be biotic and abiotic, and each habitat contains many ecological niches. So a niche, when we see, when we talk of niche, a niche is actually, when we try to understand this, each species can occupy a different or a specific niche, and different niche will together form the habitat. So if we try and understand the difference between the habitat and niche, habitat is the place where an organism lives, and talking of the niche, it is the niche of an organism is the range of conditions it can tolerate. It can tolerate a certain range. For example, the human beings can tolerate a certain particular range. So we are having a certain kind of niche. The various resources it utilizes and its functional role. When we compare the number of species, obviously, since habitat is formed by a number of niche, that means a large number of species are found in a habitat. Whereas a niche will have only one species. That means no two species can occupy or can live in the same niche. So we are going to study in this particular chapter how the habitat and the niche are made, or means how they are created, and how do organisms adapt themselves to survive in these conditions. Now, talking of the habitat and the talking of various kinds of interactions between the organisms and the abiotic factors, let us talk about the abiotic factors that are actually influencing or that play a major role. So that factors that are playing major role or that we are going to study are the major abiotic factors. We are going to talk is first the role of temperature. We know that human beings or many organisms can survive within a or are greatly affected by the temperature. The second we are going to study is the major or the another abiotic factor that affects is water. The third is the light, and fourth is the soil. These are major abiotic factors, and they actually affect the type of habitat. Apart from this, there are several biotic factors as well. So when we talk of biotic factors, the biotic factors actually will be a result or outcome due to the outcome of interactions between the organisms or the population. So these can be of different types. Now when we talk of biotic factors, the biotic factors are mutualism. This is one interaction between the various organisms, that is mean the particular species or can be the different species. Then second is the predation. third is parasitism, and fourth is competition. This competition can be between the same species or between the different species. And here in this particular chapter, we are going to study the role of these abiotic factors as well as the biotic factors which bring about the distribution of organisms or population in a particular habitat.